I feel like sometimes I'll read a very popular book or a book by a very popular author, and I will just be like, I don't get why people like this. And here, I get why people like this. I think this overall, I think, is well done. It's just unfortunately not for me. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about Nettle and Bone by Kingfisher. And I've heard a lot about this author, and I've gathered they seem to be kind of polarizing, where people seem to either really enjoy their books and their work, or just really clash kind of hard. And with the writing style, I think definitely somewhat, but also just the overall feel didn't land the best for me. However, I found this was very easy to get through and entertaining. And the other thing here is this book is kind of the take on a fairy tale-esque thing and that sort of twist to it. And that's just something that I typically don't really like, the fairy tale type of stories. Even the ones like this where it's a much more like dark, cynical take on it overall, while still having some of that the fairy tale aspects. This just not really my thing so much, so it didn't land the best for me. This though, so this is I actually the tagline, because it's perfect, is this isn't the kind of fairy tale where the princess marries a prince. It's the one where she kills him. So makes it sound a little bit cutesier than it is, I will say, because this does get into some serious topics. But the main plot here is you have Mara, and she is the third daughter of the king and queen from a very small kingdom, and her eldest sister is married off to a prince, and she ends up dying. And so then the second sister ends up getting married to the prince, and come to find out this prince is like incredibly cruel and just basically like an evil guy. And so she ends up trying to find a way to kill him, and has to complete three impossible tasks in order to get the means from a dust wife who's some sort of witch. And that's kind of the impetus of the novel, and it starts off where she's trying to complete these tasks. That is really the kicking off point. This isn't so much like the three impossible tasks are the bulk of the story. That's more the kicking off point here. But this does a lot of the things with sort of just twisting the ideas of fairy tales. We have different version of like what fairy godmothers are. We have the a dust wife, which is a sort of like witch, like necromancer type of person. We have curses and magic. We have the world of like fairy from more classic like Celtic type of folklore and that type of thing as well. And we're doing all of these things, but in slightly different ways or with different twists. And again, I think it's well done. I just tend not to mesh super well with those things. I think this does a really good job with being like this isn't like your dark and gritty thing, but it's also not as cutesy as it sounds. And it has like the cute fairy tale-esque moments, but it also doesn't shy away from the seriousness of the situation. And it takes a little bit more of a complex take than I would have expected as well here too. Again, from it sounding like it's going to be more fairy tale-esque. One of the things that and I feel like this is, I won't get specific enough to be a spoiler in case you haven't read this and are watching this, although I feel like I'm one of the few people who hadn't read this that was likely to, because I know this was very popular. But one of the things the character deals with is her parents, specifically her mother, and trying to think like if she knew what was actually going on, if they knew what was going to be happening with marrying off their daughters to this kingdom, and kind of just the ideas of what would you do to try to protect your kingdom in there as well. And she's doing that kind of like, I'm going off on my own, I'm going to try and save the day, realizes it's a lot more complicated than that as well. And so you get to see some really different aspects of that, some different sides, and it doesn't just wrap up and be like, oh, and then they lived happily ever after. It is a lot more, there is more depth to it. And so I appreciated that. Again, I think this is well written. I think if you like the sort of the fairy tale thing, especially if you like the sort of the twisted fairy tale where it's a different spin on it, and you like those sorts of feel, I think this is really one I totally get why you would like it. And I think this makes sense that this is popular, because I know a lot of people like the sort of the fairy tale-esque things as well here too. And while this doesn't have me particularly wanting to go out and try more T Kingfisher, because of the fact that I think the writing overall was good, the storytelling and the style, I thought there's a lot of, it's obvious this is an established author, and I think T Kingfisher is a pseudonym, and this author has written like a ton of stuff too under this name and other names. So this definitely feels like a book from a well-established, experienced author. It's well done, and just ultimately is one of those things that's not for me. I know I tried a little bit, and I sampled only like the first tiny bit of one of her, I think What Moves the Dead. That's like sort of like Poe retellings or something too, and that was just kind of again didn't seem like it was going to be up my alley. So I'd be curious. I have also heard that this is not like one of the better ones from people who are actually big fans of this author, even though this is the one that got popular. So if you think, based on everything that I said, that I might like something else from T. Kingfisher, definitely let me know in the comments. Um, because again, sometimes you read a book by an author and you just know, like, hey, this book's not for me. And sometimes I do read a book, like I said in the intro, where I've read a lot of popular books where I'm like, I think this is bad. I don't get why people like this. This wasn't that for me. This is a solid book. It's just not my thing, and I definitely get both why it's very popular and why this author tends to clash with people, because I just happen to be one of the people where this really clashed with my taste and just didn't ultimately work that well for me. But I never felt like I was like super bored or like I was just annoyed. It's pretty short. It's very easy to get through. It's very easy reading, and it's well done enough that I don't have that many complaints other than it just simply not working for me ultimately. And I had some fun aspects in there as well too. So it just, yeah, it was an okay book. Not for me, but it makes sense if other people like it. And that's really it for this one. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the links in the description as always for the Patreon if you want to support what I do, as well as the Wizardly Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether this book, other books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun and we'd love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.